We are now looking at the stern post, the stem post, the keel and the knees for starting to build a wooden fishing boat. This boat is going to be built in J&G Forbes boatyard in Sandhaven. It will be the last wooden boat that will ever be built in this yard, and maybe even in the whole of Scotland. This yard is in both sides of the main street in the village, and the yard where they cut all the timbers to shape is in what they call the topside yard, and then it is taken down to the bottom yard for the building process to start.
Now we have the carpenters cutting out the ribs for the boat. As you can see, if you look closely, the subanso itself is at an angle. And it was up to the sawyer to tell the man on the wheel which spun the saw to give it the angle, which direction to spin the wheel in. As in some of the timbers, you could have a very steep angle from the start to the finish, and it was hard work spinning the wheel at the speed needed to get the angles right. This is a better shot, and it shows you the down and up signs so that the man spinning the wheel could know what direction he was to go in when he was told. Most of these timbers would have been 3 to 4 inches thick, so they were quite heavy to handle, and it was a skilled job in itself, cutting out the shapes for the boat. This is the moulds set out on the floor, ready to mark out the slabs of oak to be made into the ship's frames. My grandfather, Jimmy Forbes, worked in the boatyard for many years, and at one time him and one of the other carpenters had to go to Unst to build a boat on the island. The name of the boat was the Fettler. I believe my granda may have worked in Jimmy Noble's at one time, when there wasn't many boats being built at the time. Making the moulds in a mould loft off the drawings of the boat was quite a skilled job, and it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and it wasn't every carpenter that was able to do it. Once again we have the slabs laid out on the floor, ready for the mouldsman to come along and draw the shape into the slab. In the background you can see the keel of the boat already in place, ready to receive the ribs once they are all bolted together.
When the ribs have been cut out to shape by the bandsaw, they are then placed on a platform and joined together.
This is a good example of the slab being drawn out ready. As you will notice, you can't always get one shape out of one slab, and 3 or 4 slabs may have to be used to get there.
When they are being joined together, they will have a short piece overlapping the joints, and then maybe 6 or 8 bolts put through them to make a very, very tough joint before it's erected on the boat. Here is the tractor coming down from the top yard with another load of slabs all ready to be joined together to make the rib before it is stood upright on the keel stone. Here is the top plank being fitted onto the boat, and that will establish the placing of the deck inside. It takes a very skilled person to use that adze. Now that's the boss, he's looking at that timber. This timber is only a temporary measure, as it holds all the ribs together before they start planking. And now this plank is obviously been in the steamer, and you can see how heavy the machinery is that they have to hand wind that plank to the boat with. These cramps are very heavy and you've got to be quite fit to be able to lift them off the staging and put them onto that plank it's being heaved in there. Now he's driving the dog on the top of the plank, whilst this man has driven a dog on the bottom side of the plank, and then they use hardwood wedges to put the plank up and down to the line they need it. Now that looks like Forbes the gaffer there, winding that clamp up. And there's the boss Rory. He's working alongside the men, making sure that everything's in the right place before they nail it up. There's another dog going in, so they're obviously not happy with the line it's in so far. You don't see many more trades using hammers of that shape. I think the one I used was about £5. Oh, here's Lessel. He's got the men all sit down and they've got to have a cup of tea. There she is. That's the two main planks on the top side too.
This plank is ready for fitting onto the boat now.